So as it turned out, I just recorded for 10 minutes and my audio was not working. But now it is. We're back, showing you part 2 of the best loadout for every single operator in the game, Defenders part. Last time I did it because, you know, the Siege servers were down. Now I'm doing it because that video, you know, went kind of crazy. But I'm just going to start on Sentry and work our way down. So, on Sentry, I like the Commando 9 with the Shorty. I like Reflex B on the Commando. I don't run Reflex B on very many guns, but Commando is one of them that I do like it on. I would also just run Flash Hider, Vertical Grip, Laser, just like pretty much every other gun in the game. I like the Shorty as well with Iron Sights and the Laser, just for them rotates. You can also get aggressive close up with the Shorty, I find. You can use it sort of like Buck, where, you know, you've got that gun for the longer range, but then you've got also a secondary shotgun for the short range fights, and the Shorty can actually do some damage up close. And then there's a few different ways you could use the utility on Sentry. You know, you could play the barbed and the proxies and just go all out for information, or proxies or BP or barbed BP. You could play, you know, BP and C4 and like try to C4 someone from under, but I find that Valk does that way better and also has more utility and better cameras. Valk's just a more useful operator to do that with. I think the thing that Sentry is best for is just countering shields with that C4 and impact combo. But, you know, sometimes you want to bring other stuff, but I don't think you should. I think Sentry's a pretty bad operator. I really do. But, you know, if you want the Commando, play Mozzie. I don't know. I mean, like, it's just, I would rather play Mozzie with the Mozzie drones and a C4 with the same gun and the same speed, rather than playing Sentry with impacts instead of the Mozzie drones. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's just not very useful except for countering shields. Now, on Smoke, don't play the FMG9. Never played the FMG9. This gun is dog shit. Play the M5 shotgun with the SMG11 for the longer range fights. The SMG11, it has some recoil. But once you can get that recoil pattern down, it's just going to be a machine. I mean, it is really such a good... It's the best secondary in the game, in my opinion. On it, I have Hollow Beam, Muzzle Brake, Laser, Vertical Grip. And then with the shotgun, you know, rotates. I also like the barbed over the proxy. I like the barb better for info. Plus, it does damage now. But if you're newer, you can run proxies and look for the points, or just listen for it. And then on here, Iron Sights Laser is the way to go. Smoke, great operator. If you learn how to, if you're trying to get good with one operator, I highly recommend Smoke or Mute, because they're just good on every single bomb site. Now on Mute, don't play the MP5K again. Play the shotgun with the SMG11. You know, shotgun, same thing, Iron Sight Laser. Now on the SMG11, I have the Reflex B. I think I was just messing around, like trying it, and it worked. Like, I liked it, so I just kept it on. It's the only one I have it on. I also run Muzzle Brake, Vertical Grip, and Laser on here. Again, best secondary in the game. And then play the C4 over the BP. It's going to be more useful. Now, on Castle, I would play the UMP over the shotgun. Probably the worst shotgun in the game. Play the UMP. Or the UMP. Yeah. It's more fun to say UMP. You know, with the ACOG, Vertical Grip, Laser. I like the Suppressor. You don't really need these three because this gun doesn't really have recoil like that. Suppressor, Extended Barrel. I find the Suppressor is better usually. You could just do more with it. And then the Shorty, Iron Sights Laser. And then I like proxies over the BP, but really either one will work. It just kind of depends on what bomb site you're working with. On Pulse, I wouldn't play the shotgun. I would play the UMP again. I don't really play Pulse, but if I was to play him, I'd probably run Hollow B, Suppressor, Vertical Grip, Laser. And then with the M45 over the 5.7. this pistol is better. And then C4, you can use it to deny plans. You can use it to stop people from entering. You know, if you have a C4 watching, like say you're playing on coastline, you have a C4 for the hookah door. That's absolutely lethal. If you try to get someone who's trying to cook pan or something, you know, Monty standing there, you just throw off the C4 and he's dead. Sometimes you can kill multiple. And Pulse, I don't think he's a good operator, but he can be really, really useful. But if you get in a situation where he's really useful, he's really useful. Now on dock, I know a lot of people like to roam, and just like to that, I say like, don't, like if you want an operator to roam with, if you want the new Warden, play Rook. He's got the same loadout and utility that you can put down before you go on the roam, instead of dying straight off the bat and not having your dock stims be useful at all. At least you can have that self-revive and that extra 20 HP. Usually not very useful most of the time, but sometimes it really can be helpful. So you trade, you know, with that Rook armor, you can just get yourself back up and you're good. I like the P90 on dock with the ACOG and suppressor and laser, obviously. I know a lot of people do like the MP5. You can run the MP5 if you want. I would just run ACOG, flash hider, vocal grip, laser on that one. But I find that the P90 is a machine, and you can do a whole lot of stuff with this gun. You also, you know, run the bailiff, and you can run barbed or BP. I like barbed better, personally. Now, on Rook, I like the P90. Again, you can run MP5. You can see I got the Dark Zero skin on the MP5 here. I also have the Beast Coast skin on the MP5. But, yeah, run, you know, ACOG, flash hider, vocal grip, laser. And then if you're running the P90 like you should, like me, ACOG, suppressor, laser is the way to go. And then you run the P9. And it's... I would run the P9 over the revolver. The revolver's just got that so much kick that it's just like the P9. You know, you can just spam the crap out of this one. This one, you can spam so hard. In this one, not so much. And then I like the impacts. Especially don't play observation blockers. If you really want information, you can play the proxies, but impacts are the best to play on Rook. I would put impacts as probably the second best secondary utility on the defense, just behind the C4. Now, on Capcan, again, I like the Reflex B. If you run Reflex B with the Compensator, Vertical Grip, and Laser, this gun is a machine. You just chop everyone's head off. But really, that side is personal preference. But I find the Compensator and Vertical Grip combos really, really good on this gun. You also play the PMM. Best pistol in the game with the muzzle brake and laser. That gun's a machine. This pistol sucks. Don't play it. And then C4. And you can really make some plays with Capcan. Capcan's a great operator. He's another operator that I would recommend heavily. Now on Tachanka, just don't play the 919. If you want a gun with ACOG, you can play the MP5 on Melusi, and it's gonna be so much better. Like, you have actual useful utility, and the guns are just as, like, the gun is just as strong, and it has ACOG. Play the DP27 every time. This LMG is more useful than Tachanka's actual ability. I would go as far as to say that this LMG is his ability. It 2-shots 1 and 2 speeds, and like 3 shots, or will leave, you know, 3 speed or 1 speeds. Sorry. 2 shots, 3 and 2 speeds, and it'll leave a, you know, a 3 or 1 speed at 5 HP after 2 shots. Like, this gun is just absolute monster. It is so good. You can make rotates with it. You can, you know, make head holes. It is so good. And then I would run, I like Red Dot on it, but I know a lot of people like the Red Reflex D. I think it's probably just because it's an exclusive site, but I know a lot of people like to run it. But, you know, it's not on any other operator. And then also on this gun, bearing 9 and PMM, you can run either one. I like running the bearing 9 just because it's automatic over the PMM. But that one's really a personal preference thing. Then on Jager, this is one of the only guns in the game that I like the Hollow A over the Hollow B on. I think it is better in this case with the compensator, vertical grip, and laser. You know, packed Jager Black Ice. I've actually, it's completely off topic, I packed Jager Black Ice 3 times. Like, I packed Jager Black Eyes, got so excited about it, packed it again like a month later as a duplicate, and I was like, oh, come on. And then I packed it again the other day as a duplicate, and I was so upset because I just packed like a rare Black Ice 3 times on the same account too. Like, it wasn't even a different account, so that's sad. And then P12 suppressor I like on this one with the laser, and then BP over observation blocker every time. Then on Bandit, I like the MP7 on him over the other one. I like extended barrel with the reflex B and the laser on this one. Again, the sight is very subjective, so is the barrel, but this guy doesn't really have recoil like that, so I like extended or suppressor. In this case, I'm running extended, and then P12, again, suppressor on that one. And then C4 on Bandit is always going to be the better option. You can run bar. I do have a really cool strat. You can do it with Bandit or with Cade, but basically Chalet Basement, you Bandit off the 2 walls, and then you Bandit. You put down some barbed wire on the drone hole, and then you Bandit it or Cade it, or you can even get someone else to put down the barb. But basically, it just destroys the drones as they're coming in, so they can't Twitch drone you unless they shoot the Bandit beforehand. And odds are they're not even going to realize there's a Bandit on it, right? So that combo is really lethal, and that's another reason that you also could play barbed wire on Cade over C4, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Then on Frost, her gun has no recoil, so I like the suppressor on it, or you could run extended barrel again. It's the same recoil pattern, but I find suppressor to be more useful most of the time. And then ACOG, vertical grip, and laser on this one is the way to go. And then the secondary shotgun with iron sights and lasers, also the way to go. And then there's a big debate with Frost over whether you run the BP or the shield. I like the BP because a lot of the time you can put a BP somewhere and people go up to get it and they'll hit the frost mat because they're not paying attention, right? They're just trying to get the BP. So they'll hit the frost mat and then you get a free kill off that. But I know a lot of people also like the shield on Frost. The issue I have with that is that if they know you're Frost, they're going to check. If you put the shield, say, on a site door for them to hop over, if they know you're Frost, they're going to look down and shoot the frost mat before it can hit them because they're not idiots. Unless you're playing like Copper. If you're Copper, do that. But, like, they're not idiots. So they're going to shoot the frost mat. Then on Valk, MPX every time over the Spaz 12. Spaz 12 isn't bad per se, but the MPX is just better. With the Hollow B Flash Hider Vocal Grip Laser, this is an absolute unit of a gun. And then with the Deagle, and then on the Deagle, you know, muzzle brake and the laser is the way to go. I don't play much Valk, but and then C4 impacts aren't bad. Sometimes impact can be more useful, but C4 is usually the way to go. And then these cameras are just so good. Now on Cav, I wouldn't play Cav, but if you're gonna play Cav, don't play the M12. This gun's got crazy drop off. Yeah, it doesn't really have recoil, but it shoots so slow. It's just it's really not worth it. As you can see, like, I don't play it. I don't play it. So play the Spaz 12. I like the red dot B on this one. It shows you the spread of the shotgun. And then with the laser, and you have your secondary pistol. That is. And then you have your secondary pistol. That's pretty good. You know, you can. What is that? Like 3-shot them. And then impacts on Cav is the way to go. You can make rotates on the fly. You know, if you're trying to impact a wall and kill someone. Yeah. Now on Echo, you could run the Supernova if you really, really wanted to. You know, in that up close combat, it is a very, very good shotgun. If you were to, I would run the red dot B and the laser. I would not run a suppressor just because of how big it makes the gun. You can see how much extra it adds, and you can't really hide in corners there. Like, if you're trying to take cover, they'll see you. They'll see your barrel. So I run the MP5 SD most of the time. This gun is better than the original MP5. It's so crazy. It's got a built-in suppressor, and it does more damage, actually, with the same fire rate. But with the Hollow B vertical grip and laser, I miss Echo 1.5. I really do. But, you know, if they gave Echo ACOG, he would legit be maybe the best defender in the game. So they had to kind of take him down a little bit. And then Bearing 9, Hollow B, Flash Hider Laser. I do think if they gave Echo ACOG, he would be better than Valk, and it wouldn't even be close. His drones, yes, they're bigger, but they're movable, and they can stun people. So his drones are really, really good, and then run impacts on him over the shield. Then on Mira, Vector over the shotgun, I would say, and then you can run the secondary shotgun. With the Vector, Hollow Beat, I like Compensator on here with the Vertical Grip and Laser. This gun is honestly really, really strong. I really do like this gun. And then you run the C4 on her. I mean, and then like all the shotgun, iron sights, and laser. And it's just, she's got a really good loadout. The only problem I have with the Black Mirrors is there's so much counters to it now. She's not nearly as strong as she used to be, but she's still good. And then on Lesion, T5 all the time, never the shotgun. T5, Hollow Beat, Flash Hider, Vertical Grip, Laser is always the way to go. Very, very strong combination. And then you run the Shorty, and it's very, very, very strong. Shorty with the Iron Sights and Laser, and then you run the BP on it. And then you run the BP, and he was better with the impacts. I do miss Lesion impacts sometimes, but he's still very good. With the impacts, he was probably the best counter to shields, but now he's still pretty good. And then on Ella, Scorpion over the shotgun, about 99% of the time. And then on the Scorpion, Compensator, Hollow Beat, Vertical Grip, Laser. This gun, not nearly as good as it used to be, but it still can be good if you know how to play it right. Then you run the pistol with the muzzle brake and laser, and you'll have a good time. And then you run the barbed on her. She's just really a great, I would say great. She's a good information operator. Ella can be useful sometimes for info. Then on Vigil, I like the K1A. I like the Holloway on this gun with the extended barrel, vertical grip, and laser. Doesn't have a crazy amount of recoil, so it's very, very good. You can run Boss G if you're crazy, just like I said yesterday for Doke, but I would prefer K1A most of the time. And then C75 and SMG12 is a toss-up. I like C75, but SMG12 is probably objectively better. So it really just is a personal thing. And then impacts over the BP is the way to go. Same reasoning as Cav. You could just shoot someone. Like, you can make a quick rotate and shoot someone, you know, on the other side of a wall if you hear him, and it's great. Fantastic. Maestro, I think, is a very, very strong operator. I would run the Alda most of the time, but this shotgun is also really, really nice sometimes, so you can run it. It's not fully automatic, is it? Can you hold down the button on this shotgun? I would still run the Alda most of the time with the bailiff for the rotates. That shotgun isn't really necessary. If you know, the Alda's a very good gun. I like the red dot C on it again with the muzzle brake, vertical grip, and laser. And then you run the bailiff with usually with the laser. And then it's like, yeah. And then I like the impacts over barbed or observation blockers on him. On Alibi now, we did just learn that shotgun was crazy, but I would still run the MX4 Storm, Hollow Beast, Suppressor, Vertical Grip, Laser on this one. You can, like that barrel's again a personal preference. This gun does have a little bit of recoil to it, but I find that I like the recoil pattern better on the Suppressor / extended barrel than the Flash Hider. But if you don't know what to run, I would just play Flash Hider. And then Bailiff with the laser. I just run laser on everything, increase your ADS speed. Like, yeah, it's not going to be very helpful on Bailiff most of the time, but sometimes you need the Bailiff. And then I would say Alibi is the one operator where observation blockers can be useful, just because you can hide your Alibi clones behind them. And if they don't drone, they're not going to see them. If they don't drone correctly, they're not going to see them. And then you just, like, free wall hacks, or, like, kind of wall hacks. But you can run proxies just for that info. And then Alibi can be, like, the best info op. Mouse starting to get dry again. Flash. Can run the shorty. You can run the pistol, but I think the SPS MG Pocket F2 is better. Most cases, I would run. I like the suppressor on it. I don't really play Clash, so I don't really have, like, yeah, Reflex C is fine. Laser suppressor on this gun. It's a very, very strong secondary. like, very, very good. Honestly, I might play Extended Barrel on it, but that doesn't really have to damage that much. So I don't know. And then on Clash, Impact Grenades, you can see I've never played Clash in my life because I think she's that bad. Woo! Okay. Cade. We were just talking about how you can do the barbed thing with Bandit, but I think you can do it better with Cade. Because, say you're on that chalet basement again, you can put the barbed on the thing. You don't even need someone else to do it. You don't have to waste another Cade Claw. You put it on the drone hole. You can use one Cade Claw to get both walls and the drone hole. Plus, you can Cade trick it, which is less effective than Bandit tricking. Yes, it's completely shut down by Thatcher, but it is still good if they don't know what they're doing. If they don't know how to double EMP, Cade tricking can still be really, really effective. Then on this gun, Flash Hider, you can run the TCSG, but I don't like the TCSG, so I run the AUG A3. And then if I'm running that, I run this gun just so I have a little bit more range. But both pistols are like whatever. Now on Mozzie, I like the Roni over the Commando. You can run the Commando. But I like the Roni with the Hollow B, Flash Hider, Laser, and Vertical Grip. The Commando is going to be the same setup as the Recruit, so just Reflex B, Flash Hider, Vertical Grip, Laser. But I'm way more a fan of the Roni. I think it is still a good gun, even without the 1.5. You just have to be closer up for it to actually be that effective. And then the pistol, Muzzle Brake, Laser. And then I like C4 on Mozzie. Over Barbed. C4 you should run over Barbed. Then on Warden, contrary to popular belief, I do think Warden is still a useful operator if you know when to play him. If they're spamming utility like flashes, smokes, Ying, Candelas, if they have a glass, you can play Warden, you can counter that, and he could still be useful. I don't like playing a shotgun on Warden. I do prefer to play with the MPX. Hollow B, Flash Out of Vertical Grip, Laser is where I go on that. After losing his 1.5. Just saddens me. I used to love Warden 1.5, but I understand that it was overpowered. And then SMG-12, Hollow B, Vertical Grip, Laser. This pistol is pretty good, but I think the SMG-12 is bad for it. And the Nitro Cell. And then play C4, and you're all good. Goyo, I like the Vector over the TCSG. Again, you can play TCSG, but I would never. Vector, I like the ACOG. I like the suppressor on Goyo with the ACOG. It feels a little bit different. I like the recoil pattern of the suppressor better. And then I like the Vertical Grip and Laser on him. Then on the pistol, just Muzzle Brake, Laser like on most. And then I would run impacts over proxies or BPs on him. Whew. Oh. Wamai! Never play the all gun Wamai. This might be the worst thing you can possibly do. Just don't do it. Play the MP5K with the ACOG. This gun is a beast. Flash Hider and Laser. Flash Hider just because it doesn't have that vertical grip to help you. So, you know. It doesn't have the craziest recoil, but it sometimes has a kick to it. And Flash Hider can keep that down. And then I run this pistol with Muzzle Brake and Laser just for head holes and things like that. And then you run, you can run the P12. I used to, but I do not anymore. And then impacts over proxies pretty much all the time. I wouldn't play Oryx, but if you were to play Oryx, T5, Hollow B, Flash Out of Vertical Grip, Laser, same thing as Lesion, and then play the Bailiff as well. You can play this one because Oryx can, you know, make rotates just with his body. Thing I have about that is if you're trying to make head holes or just trying to, like, again, do that sort of impact grenade thing where you bust open the wall and shoot someone on the other side. You can't do that with his ability because you will get fried because it takes him a second to pull out his gun after he goes through the wall. So the Bailiff can be nice for that. And then barbed wire over proxies. Unless you're new, then you can run proxies. Same deal as with whoever I was talking about. Smoke. Now, on Melusi, I run the MP5 over the Super 90 all the time, every time. And then on the MP5, you know, ACOG, Flash Hider, Vertical Grip, Laser is the way to go. With the pistol, Muzzle Brake, Laser is the way to go. And then impacts over BP all the time, every time. every day. Now, on Aruni, I have run the Roni before. It's not terrible too, but the DMR with the ACOG on defense is like unfair sometimes. Like it's that good. So I would play that most of the time on that one. You can see I got the ACOG muzzle brake with the horizontal grip because it doesn't have recoil, and then laser. And that can be really strong. But then if you want to run the Roni, Alibi, flash hider, vertical grip, laser. It really, to me, it depends on what map you're playing. Because if you're on a closer range map, I would play the Roni. If you're on a longer map with a lot of long range angles, you play the DMR. And then pistol, I like suppressor and laser on it. And then barbed wire for BP on her. This also coincidentally is the season when I first got Rainbow Six Siege. I didn't play it, but I had the game. Thunderbird, I would never play in my life. But if you're going to, shotgun, red dot B, laser, bearing 9 as well with the Alibi and flash hider and laser. You can see some Thunderbird gameplay with my video about the worst operators, because Thunderbird, spoiler alert, is, who I play a lot of the time on the defense, because Thunderbird is really bad. And then barbed over BP or shield is what I would play most of the time. Then if you're going to run Thorn, I wouldn't anymore per gun without the 1.5. It's still good, but I find that there's better guns that you can play. It's a very stubby vertical grip. But then Alibi, flash hider, vertical grip, laser is the way to go. And then you can, shoot people, because this gun has no recoil. So really, actually, you can run it with a different thing because it has no recoil, but I don't play Thorn, so I don't know what that thing is. And then I would run the C75 suppressor laser on that one, and then barbed over the shield all the time for that information. Then on Azami, I like the 919, but most of the time I probably would run the shotgun on the 919, same loaded as Capcan, as you can see, reflex B, compensator, vertical grip, laser. But then the shotgun, like we learned, it's fully automatic now, so it's like I probably would run this most of the time, and I probably do run this most of the time. Vertical grip, ACOG laser. This is the operator I would run it. I wouldn't run the shotgun most of the time on Maestro or Alibi, but on Azami, I do run it. And then impacts, you can run barbed, but I would run impacts. Deagle, muzzle brake, laser. It's the way to go. We're almost done. Solis used to be my favorite operator in the game until they nerfed the ever living shit out of her. P90, Alibi, suppressor, laser, same sort of ordeal as Doc and Rook, just without an ACOG. And then SMG11. On this one, I have Alibi, flash hider, vertical grip, laser instead of muzzle brake. I don't know why, it's just how I did it. And then I would play proxies over the BP. Sometimes I do run Solis shotgun though, and if you're going to do that, iron sights and lasers is the way to go. That can be strong on closer range maps, then you can use that SMG11 for the longer range play, just like smoke or mute. But I most of the time would play P90. Now to my current favorite operator in the game is Fenrir. I love him. I don't think he's overpowered anymore, and that's why I don't like to ban him in ranked. I love to play Fenrir, and I'm not intimidated by playing against Fenrir anymore. He's not crazy overpowered. But if I'm playing Fenrir, MP7, reflex B extended, laser, same thing as Bandit. Again, no recoil on this gun. You can run the extended or suppressor, and you're going to be just fine. And then I run the bailiff for sight setup, rotates, head holes, things like that. And then a laser on this one. Don't play the sausage or the 5.7. I would always play bailiff, MP7. And then I would run the BP over the observation blockers. You can run them if you want to hide your Fenrirs, I guess, but I generally would not. I would play the BP for that information. Then the newest defender, not newest operator, newest defender in the game, Tubarão. On Tubarão, oh no, not newest defender. I forgot about Sentry. Newest unique defender. How about that? Newest original defender. on the defense is Tubarão. You can play MPX, but I would generally play this gun. 67 damage with an ACOG. It shoots so fast on the defense is absolutely criminal. Again, ACOG, muzzle brake, horizontal grip, laser, no recoil, shoots so fast if you have that trigger finger, especially on PC. 67 damage, 2 shots, anybody. This gun is an absolute fucking unit. And then the pistol, muzzle brake, laser, but you're never going to need it because that gun is so good. And then C4 over the proxies all the time. But that is going to be today's list. You can go watch part 1. Woo! You can go watch part 1. Came out a few days ago. And that's talking about all of the attackers in the game. But other than that, yeah, peace out.